Hello, good morning everyone. We will start the event with a traditional diya ceremony. So lighting a diya symbolizes an awakening from darkness to light, and from ignorance to knowledge. And as the theme for today, we seek the blessing of the divine to show us the right path and to bring success in our efforts. I now invite on stage our chief guest, Mr. Mafatlal Shah, and the director of PMB Electric, Mr. Dashrath Patel, to come on stage, light the lamp, and inaugurate the function.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा.
A very warm welcome to our guests from the media, our esteemed suppliers, customers, and friends and family. Today we have gathered not just to see a product being unveiled, because EaS-E, your everyday car, is not just a car, it's an idea. It's an idea whose time has come, an idea that will change the Indian roads forever. EaS-E is part of a bigger movement called PMV, a movement to challenge the status quo, a movement towards conscious consumption, and a movement towards right-sized mobility. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite on stage the dreamer and the dynamic founder of PMB Electric, Mr. Kalpit Patel.
Hello all, this is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. As Surya Kumar Yadav has said, दिल में बहुत धक धक हो रहा है, so please bear with me. and my voice is also a little bit under the weather, so please do bear with me. So yes, hello everybody, and thank you so much for coming in for this event where we are going to show you what the future of urban mobility looks like. And again, thank you so much whoever is joining us with the YouTube live. My name is Kalpit Patel, and I am the founder of PMV Electric. And before we get into the details of the product, I would like to give you a little bit of a backstory in terms of how I got involved in the automotive industry, whereas actually I started off my career as a banker. So this journey has been slightly difficult one for me, and it's been a long one, because it's been a lot of learning, because obviously I'm not from the industry. So it involved a lot of learning for me. It involved a lot of self-education, talking to experts, working with experts, and literally getting my hands dirty. So, so this journey started back in 2016, when I used to go to my office every day, about 10 kilometers away from my home. And it used to take me about an hour to reach my office. And it was a very frustrating way to, start the day. And I believe not much has changed even today, because pretty much the same scenario exists today. And I would always observe this one thing, that most of the private cars actually have single and double occupancy inside the cars, whereas, we always take out a 5 and a 7-seater car. So whenever you think of a car per se, I mean, if I were to just ask you to close your eyes and imagine a car, constantly you will see 5 seats, 2 seats up front, and 3 seats at the back side. Now let me show you what that visually looks like. So this is what the current scenario is. I mean, if you just look at some of the areas that each of these vehicles occupy, I mean, it's crazy, right? 93 odd square feet for an SUV. And if just one person is sitting inside, then you can imagine the kind of occupancy that we have on the road. What you can also notice is that the smaller cars obviously have a better carbon emissions or lesser carbon emissions in terms of pollution compared to the bigger vehicles. And I would always think to myself that why do we only have 5 and 7-seater cars when most of our travel requirements are actually personal? Like typically, what do we use our car for? Office and back, grocery shopping, dropping kids to school. And all of these personal travels are actually shorter distances at lower speeds, about 20, 30 odd kilometers per hour, and largely with single and double occupancy. So this is what the current scenario actually looks like. If you see what do we have on offer, so we have 5 and 7-seater cars with top speeds of 120, 150 odd kilometers per hour. Typically, we'll have about 500 odd kilometers of range, and the weight, 1,000 to 1,500 kg of a weight for a 70 kg of a human being. I mean, I can only remember this, famous dialogue of "Bahut na insaafi hai." And what do we actually use these vehicles for? So typically, like I said earlier, single double occupancy, lower speeds, typical distances of 25 to 40 odd kilometers. And obviously office and back, grocery shopping, and dropping kids to school. So to me, it's like common sense that if this is what people are using their cars for, this is what we should build to, right? I mean, it just makes common sense, and that's what I expected, or that's what I thought that the industry would have also observed. But contrary to that, things have been going differently. So the industry is actually going towards bigger, more polluting, and more heavier cars. So if I were to tell you some facts, SUV as a segment is one of the fastest growing segment that we have here right now in India. I mean, in the last 5 odd years, about 36 models have been launched in the SUV category, and 9 of them have been launched in this year alone. So clearly, we are heading in the wrong direction, because what this will do is it will actually increase the traffic congestion that we already have. I mean, something that should have taken about 20, 30 odd minutes is now taking about 50 to 60 odd minutes. We all of us have faced problems in terms of parking, right? I mean, typically you spend anything between 5 to 15 odd minutes just to find a parking spot. And I don't think I need to talk about pollution. I mean, when was the last time that we actually rolled down our windows and let the outside air come in? Pretty much never happens, right? And obviously the last and the most important part is the climate change. So obviously we have been, we have faced heat waves this year in India. We have seen Bangalore flash floods and other such extreme weather events happening all over the globe. So clearly, this is not a good future to go for. I mean, it kind of gives me shivers to imagine that what future are we leaving for our children? Polluted air and climate risk. So I thought to myself that this is not sustainable and this must be stopped. We must do something about it. So I put my thinking cap on and I thought that what should we do? We should do something about this, definitely. So we started working on a product or a new segment altogether, which will help us to address all of these things and actually build a vehicle which is purpose built for the everyday use, which is what we use our cars mostly for. So all of these things is what we are basically looking to do. And we basically got to the drawing board and we started with some sketches to try and figure out what the product could potentially look like. So these are some of the initial sketches that we had made for the product of the future. So when we were obviously working on this, we thought of what is the existing market. So in the existing market, we have the SUV, sedan, and the hatchback, right? So obviously those would not work for the requirement that we are working towards. So for that reason, we had to come up with a new category. And then we thought to ourselves that what would be the right name for being able to convey what we want to do and how it will help the consumers. So from there, we basically came up with the name PMV Electric, Personal Mobility Vehicles. So the way we have SUV, sedan and hatchback, we wanted to create a new category called as PMV. Now, earlier I showed you in terms of what the area was in terms of each of these segments and what kind of carbon emissions that they had. And then this is what we envisaged, that how the new segment that we are trying to build could potentially look like. So this is how we arrived at the thing that there should be another category called as PMV, which will help us to address the 4 major issues that face us, which is the traffic congestion, parking issue, pollution, and climate change. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you, along with my team, the future of urban mobility. So are you guys ready to have the first sneak peek of EaS-E your everyday car? Can you please make some noise? Can we have the lights dimmed, please? So obviously, when we come up with a new category, it just cannot be about the size. So the vehicle also has to be smarter, because that's what most of the things that we use today are, right? Most of the things that we use are smarter. So why not a car which is smarter? So for a smart car, we will have a smart entry today. Can we have some music playing, please? Can we switch off all the lights? The screen also? Yeah, the EaS-E is ready to come out. All right, can we have some noise, please? EaS-E, your everyday car. That's a smart car for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's EaS-E, your everyday car. It's driving by itself. It's obviously the smart car of the future. Can we have it rotate, please? I hope you guys like what you saw, because it has taken us immense amount of time and immense amount of efforts to reach here. Did you guys like it? Seriously? Then I don't hear any noise. Can you please make some noise? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so we have a quick video of about 5 minutes where we will show the EaS-E in action. And for us to be able to do that, I will again smartly pull back the vehicle by using my EaS-E Connect app. As you can see, there is nobody sitting inside the vehicle. Right. Can we please have the video now? So we'll show you the actual vehicle in action with some of the top of the line benefits that we have included in a tiny package called the PMV. We hope you like that too. Can you please have the video? And everything else that they have to say. And through these multiple discussions, one thing that came across very, very starkly in all of our communications with the consumers was that while they want to adopt a sustainable alternative, they also want a capable product. They do not want a compromised product. And if you were to pen it in just 3 words, of all the communications and all the discussions that we have had with our customers, they would be safe, sustainable, and technology-oriented solutions that help us to go faster, smarter, and greener. So let me dwell a little bit more in terms of what exactly is this faster, smarter, and greener. So I'll first start with the faster bit of it. So obviously, when we say faster for a small vehicle like this, we don't really mean that it's going to go 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. I mean, even if the vehicle was capable, most of us will not be actually able to go that fast because of the fact that we are actually just crawling in traffic most of the times, right? So we'll just give you a quick scenario of what the things currently look like. So if you look at what the current scenario is, most of the vehicles are SUVs, hatchbacks, or sedans, and largely with single and double occupancy, the road looks like it's a choco block. There is no place to go. Obviously, because of the PMV being smaller in size, it will help to reduce the road occupancy, which will in turn help us to go faster. Also, because of the fact that it has a narrow stance, it will be able to cut through traffic. You know, we kind of say that it will cut through traffic like a fighter jet plane. So that's something that we say. I mean, that's what we mean when we say that it's going to go faster. Another benefit that we will see is that typically we end up spending about 5 to 15 odd minutes to try and find a parking spot. But with the EaS-E, you know, you just see a small spot and you go for it, and the vehicle will surely park in that. So again, in that sense, it will be able to go much faster compared to all the other vehicles out there in the market. Now I'll give you a little brief about the smarter aspects of it. Obviously, earlier in the video, you've seen some of the benefits that we are going to be offering, like remote parking assist and everything. I'll give you a little bit more detail of the same in the next slides. So typically, you know, some high-end cars and all will have something called as cruise control. But majority of the times what happens is that we actually do not have, you know, the space to be able to go in the cruise mode. So we actually thought of it that what is the real pain point of the customer. The pain point of the customer is when he's stuck in traffic. He has to constantly use his clutch, brake, and accelerator. So we thought to ourselves, and we asked ourselves the question that is there some way that we can help the customer alleviate that constant pain of having to change the clutch, brake, and accelerator. And that's when we came up with this first in the world concept of EaS-E, the feet-free driving mode. So this is something that we have come up with from our own side, and this is not, you know, there in any of the products in the market right now. So it is, obviously the name itself is EaS-E, so it's nothing complex. You have these steering mounted control buttons. There's a plus button, there's a minus button. You press plus, the vehicle goes forward to a maximum speed of 20 km/h. You press minus, the vehicle goes, the vehicle brakes electronically by using regen. So you never actually have to use your feet if you are driving the smart EaS-E. So next time you are stuck in the traffic, I hope that you remember that if you had the EaS-E, you could have just controlled the car at your fingertips. I'll just show you a quick demonstration of the same. Can we have the video, please? So in the video, what you will see is that first, obviously, the person who is driving, my colleague Kamlesh, he is not having his feet on the pedal, neither the accelerator, neither the brake pedal, and he's just going to be using the steering mounted controls. We have the plus button, he'll press plus. You'll see there's an EaS-E mode which will come on the display, and the vehicle goes forward. This is the first time ever that something like this has been done, not only in India but globally. Can we have a round of applause for this, please? So he's just pressing the button and the vehicle is going forward. So the next time you are stuck in traffic, please do remember, if you had the EaS-E, you could have taken the EaS-E route. You could have just driven it using your thumb control. So that's the EaS-E mode for you. Now the remote parking assist. So some of the top of the line vehicles, probably cost about 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, or probably even more than that, have this benefit called as remote parking assist. say you are parked at a spot and somebody else comes and parks, you can just remotely connect to your vehicle, start the engine or start the vehicle, and actually instruct it to move forward or reverse at the click of a button, the way that I showed you earlier, and we'll again show you a quick demonstration of that here in the next video. So this will also be the first at this price point that any vehicle is offering a feature like this. Thank you so much. The next smart feature is the remote connectivity and diagnostics. So, oftentimes what happens is you actually park your vehicle at a very, big parking lot that you have, and then you forget where you parked your vehicle. Has that ever happened with any of you guys? It has? Yeah, so then this feature will surely come in very handy for you. So what you can do is you can remotely, make the vehicle to honk. Can you hear it? This is live happening right now. So what will happen is, you don't know where you parked the vehicle, you just whip out your phone, you use the EaS-E Connect app, and you make the vehicle to honk. So now you know where the vehicle was parked. You can go to it and then obviously you can drive away. So what we're essentially trying to say is that the vehicle is smart and it has a lot of intuitive benefits which will help you to make your life easy. That's the remote horn. And then, if say for example you have parked your vehicle at a spot where there is no light for you to see, so you can just whip out your phone again. You keep doing that all the time with this smartphone and the smart car, and you just switch on the lights of the vehicle. So now you have a bit of a clear vision for you to just tread your path and go to wherever that you have to go. Then there is a benefit called as single pedal drive. So with electric vehicles, there is a benefit called as regenerative braking. What that does is, whenever you want to accelerate, you press the accelerator pedal. Whenever you want to brake, instead of actually braking, you can just lift off your leg from the accelerator pedal. So the vehicle will start the regen activity, and the vehicle will automatically slow down at a much higher pace than coasting along the way the regular vehicles do. So what that allows you to do, that if you drive it smartly, you can actually just use your accelerator pedal to be able to drive throughout. So that's your single pedal drive. So this is another feature which is very close to my heart. So I always believe that by honking, the next vehicle is not going to go any faster. I mean, we all the time, whenever we see somebody else waiting in or something like that, we just honk, right? But what we don't realize is that while we are sitting in the AC cabin of our vehicles, the person outside, be it a pedestrian or be it somebody on two-wheelers, he's actually having to hear that big horn. with air pollution, you can see that, okay, there is air pollution, right? But with noise pollution, there is no feedback for you. So what we have tried to do is to try and give a feedback to the customer and tell them that you have honked so many times today in the hope that it will change the behavior of the person who's driving when he looks at the figure. Oh my God, I have honked 50 times a day. Probably it will play on his mind that maybe I honked 50 times yesterday, I'll try to honk lesser today. So what we are trying to say is that we are not just thinking of an electric vehicle and the sustainability angle from that perspective. We're trying to capture all of the sustainability angles as much as possible. I'll just show you a quick demonstration of that with a video. Can you please have the video? So every time the person honks, the counter here on the display goes up. And somebody asked me that why do you have a heart there? So I mean, I said that, you know, have a heart before you honk, because it does affect somebody else who's outside the vehicle. So that's again a feature that we are trying to bring on from the sustainability angle. And last but not the least amongst of the EaS-E is called the over-the-air updates. Now, most of our cell phones that we use today are smart, right? And every 6 months or a year, you know, we get this software update in our cell phones, which makes the software latest, right? Most of the legacy cars do not actually have that benefit, but because it's an electric vehicle, we have offered this benefit called as over-the-air update, so that your vehicle is up to date and not a dud vehicle which probably we have been using all this while. So that's again something that we are going to offer and try and make a smarter alternative or a smarter car for the future generations. Now we'll talk about the greener aspect of it. So obviously everybody knows that electric vehicles are green, right? But we have this little E and R at the back of the green, and we are saying that it's greener. So how exactly it is greener? So this is basically a comparison in terms of how a regular size petrol car and an average electric car compares with that of an EaS-E in terms of the green aspect. So there are two angles, you know, which most people do not know about, is that electric vehicles per se are not zero emission. I repeat, electric vehicles per se are not zero emissions. They are zero tailpipe emissions. So where is this carbon emissions really happening from? So there are two aspects from where the carbon emissions are happening. One is the electricity generation itself is through renewable sources of energy, which in turn becomes the way of pollution for electric cars. So the more the energy it consumes on a per kilometer basis, that much more pollution will be caused because of electric vehicles. So our logic is simple, that if you reduce the weight of the vehicle, if you reduce the size of the vehicle, your carbon emissions will obviously be lesser. So that is exactly what we are saying in terms of the CO2 per kilometer carbon emissions. And the second aspect of carbon emissions from an electric vehicle is that the battery pack manufacturing process is a very carbon intensive process. So whenever a battery pack is manufactured, there's a lot of carbon emissions that happen from it. So much so that on day one, an electric car is in fact negative in terms of carbon emissions. And it takes a certain number of kilometers before which the vehicle is negative in terms of carbon emissions. So it has to actually drive a certain number of kilometers to break even in terms of carbon emissions. So that's exactly what we have mentioned here, that if you were to look at an average electric car which is typically being sold in the Indian market right now, it will typically take about 26,000 kilometers before it is actually green. So that's a large number, right? I mean, typically we drive about 800, 900 or 1,000 odd kilometers a month. So that's about 26 months before your electric vehicle, the regular sized electric vehicle, is not green. Whereas the same thing for an EaS-E will end up being as fast as about 7 odd months. So that's basically what we mean when we say that an EaS-E is greener than the cars which are there, besides being greener than the petrol and the diesel cars. So that's the faster, smarter and the greener aspect of the EaS-E. So now we talk about the specs of the vehicle. So this is a quick snapshot of what the benefits or the basic stuff of the vehicle will be. So we envisage that this is going to be the future of urban mobility because there's only so much road and so many cars, and with the growth in the Indian economy, more and more cars are going to be coming onto the road, and the roads are not growing anymore. There is no space to grow the roads, right? So the only logical way to go ahead is to actually shrink the size of the vehicle and make it purpose built for the everyday use. So the top speed of about 70 odd kilometers per hour. So this is the go up to. We are going to offer 3 range options: 120 kilometers, 160 kilometers and 200 kilometers of ideal ranges. And the typical charging time for the EaS-E is going to be between 3 to 4 hours from a regular 15 amp outlet which we use for a geyser or an AC. And I mentioned earlier that EaS-E on your pocket. So that's the part. We're talking about an operational cost of less than 75 paisa per kilometer. Maybe today you are paying somewhere around 6 to 7 or maybe even 8 rupees a kilometer in the petrol diesel vehicles. So that's a big benefit. So I mean, I kind of jokingly say this, that petrol ke kharche mein EaS-E milegi. If you drive a car right now every day, petrol ke kharche mein aapko EaS-E milegi. So please do take a note of that. So a little bit more in terms of what the product is going to be all about. I gave you the specifications, basic specifications earlier. Now let's talk about how the vehicle is going to be built. So like I mentioned earlier, that some of the important points that a customer was looking for when he was looking to buy a vehicle was the safety angle of it. And we have chosen a difficult path to actually make the EaS-E in a contemporary way. When I say contemporary, most people don't know, but all of the vehicles on the road today are made with sheet metal, with high strength sheet metal. But in this category, particularly the microcars, globally also, most of the cars are built in tubular chassis with plastic panels embedded on that, which doesn't offer a lot of safety and ride and comfort to the driver. So we have actually taken a difficult path to give a contemporary product, a capable product, in such a way that the ride comfort and the safety of the passenger is not compromised. So our EaS-E is going to be made in sheet metal. Again, like I said, safety is of prime importance and is of, we take it very seriously. So we are saying that all of the EaS-E vehicles, all of the variants that we launch, will always have a driver airbag and seat belts, so as to ensure that the safety of the passenger is not compromised, and we can offer the best quality product and a capable product to our consumers. So our chassis or the body is going to be made out of monocoque construction. So what is going to drive our EaS-E? So we have this integrated powertrain that we have made with the controller for the motor itself and the gearbox, all integrated in a single unit. So it's an integrated powertrain unit. The motor is going to be a PMSM drive, the latest one that we use with the highest efficiency. The power will be about 10 kilowatts, and the torque is going to be an enormous 50 Newton meters with about 500 Newton meters on the wheels. That's a lot of torque for a small vehicle like this. So any flyover or parking lots which have a slope, please don't feel that the EaS-E will not go up. I can assure you that the EaS-E will go up on every single flyover with ease. And the powertrain is also going to be an IP67 unit, so you don't have to worry about any water intrusions during the rains. Now the battery pack. So the battery pack again is the most important powerhouse of an electric vehicle. The battery pack is going to be an integrated structural unit, which will be acting as a load member inside the vehicle. Now this is not something that most companies do, but we have done this in an attempt in such a way that it offers the best rigidity to the overall vehicle and also allows us a certain level of comfort on the overall weight of the vehicle, because the weight of the vehicle is restricted, like I said earlier. So this allows us to build a solid chassis member out of the battery pack. Some of the largest OEMs in the electric vehicle space actually do it this way. So we could have easily gone for the under the seat kind of a route, which most of the OEMs or most of the companies use, but we have tried to go for the proper solution. The chemistry that we are going to be using is the one which is more suited to the Indian weather conditions, which is the lithium iron phosphate, not the lithium iron, and that has been our story since start because of the added advantage of safety that lithium iron phosphate battery packs offer us. So while obviously all the OEMs are now shifting towards LFP, but since start, all of our prototype vehicles have been on the basis of LFP cells. This battery pack will also be an IP67 rated battery pack. The voltage that we are looking to offer is about 48 volts. So now we are towards the end of our presentation, and the most important part of the whole presentation, maybe what most of you guys are waiting for, in terms of what is the price going to be, kitne mein milegi, right? Because at the end of the day, that is all, that's one of the most important part. So while obviously we cannot reveal the exact details right now because this is an unveil and not a launch, but we can still give you some idea in terms of what the price is going to be. So can we have a short video on the same? Can you please play that? So this is an introductory offer, as is the norm nowadays. Can you please play some music? So ladies and gentlemen, the first 10,000 customers who do the bookings with us are going to get the introductory price of 4.79 lakhs for the base variant of the vehicle, and we'll obviously reveal the details of all the variants and everything at a later stage. But this is the starting price. Right now, the pre-orders are open on our website www.pmvelectric.com. And we have been open for some time now, and we have also got a lot of pre-orders. So I would really urge you to please go to our website and do the pre-bookings right now, because we have already got a lot of pre-orders. So it should not so happen that you want it. I would urge you to please go on our website and do the pre-booking. I'll also give you a little snapshot of the kind of pre-bookings that we have got, so that you understand the kind of response that we have got. Can you please have the video for that? So how many pre-orders have we got? 100? Two less. How much is it? Can somebody guess? Can somebody guess? Does anybody want to take a guess? Oh, it's 3,000. Wow. Oh, it's 4,000. Oh my God. That is something, right? It's still going up. I'm surprised. So this is it. So we have got close to 6,000 pre-orders already in our book, not only from India, but from all over the globe. Thank you so much, and this has been our target since day one, made in India and made for the world. So we have already got a lot of orders from the international market also. So that number what we have right now is about 6,000 odd, and like I said earlier, that if you want your vehicle at the earliest,